Hi and welcome to the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to it. I'm sure you'll find it beneficial over the time. Right, I'm doing a quick vlog. Bit about what feedback I've heard about all this, about the dealers and what have you. And to be quite honest, I was watching somebody else's video. I can't remember his name actually. It was his motorhome guy, and he was on about, is the Caravan Club going bust? I should have said Caravan and Motorhome Club, due to an email that Nick Lomas sent out. And I saw the email. I looked at it. I didn't really take much notice of it, to be quite honest, because I've not been using the sites. It's as simple as that. About less deposit and all this, that and the other, and saying about the future of the club. Now somebody's sort of interpreted that to say they may be going having financial problems. Personally, I don't think that's the case. I'm sure they're feeling the pinch. I know that the Campton Caravan Club, there's been a few people that from higher up that have now gone, and they've been there quite a number of years. And sadly they were no longer required. Now I'm sure that the clubs have found things a little bit tough going, and everyone's complaining about the price of the plots, the pitches, and I think that's just things in general. Yes, people are saying people have been greedy, the sites have been greedy, and I'm sure that has gone on. But now, if I was a site owner, I would be doing my utmost to say, right, what I want to do is I want to attract motorhomes and caravanners to my park, and in that way I'm going to try and look at all my costs, how much I'm making, and see if I can make some downward price cuts, and still make a bit of a profit, and try and remain competitive. I'm hoping that prices will come down on sites, but usually when prices go up, they don't come down quite the same, do they, as we know. So that's one thing. The Broad Lane scenario. Well, yes, it's just a very sad factor, and as I say, I've not heard any much about that at all. Whether it'll get sold on as a dealership, I don't know. It's a shame for it to go. It's been there a good number of years. As I say, Broad Lane always had a pretty good reputation, and as I say, I knew the two brothers, Darren and Steve Brown, and you know, they always were very keen to make their business, you know, tip top. Are there going to be any more dealers now? Somebody sent me a whisper the other day about another dealership. Now I'm not going to name that dealership. It's quite a big one. They've been going for quite a number of years, and they said they'd heard something, and had I heard anything? I'm just going to quick cup of my tea out of my Mickey Mouse cup. And no, I hadn't. And I've got somebody who lives in that area, and I think it was just a rumour. I'm hoping it's just a rumour. If it's not, I'd be very surprised. I'd be very saddened by it. I've been to that dealership. I was there a couple of years ago actually, and that was after the COVID thing, so stuff was still selling quite well. And it's a long established dealership. They did have another branch which they closed down a number of years ago, but nobody really thought much about that. It was just one of those things. Anyway, rumours will obviously always be circulated, especially when things aren't going right. Now, I went to Elddis the other day. That's quite interesting. I can't give too much away because you've got an embargo thing, which will be up, I think, about the 12th of August. So we're about three or four weeks off yet. I've done a couple of reviews on the 2025 vans. My overall take on it, I think Elddis have actually done quite a lot of work on their vans, and I think you're going to see some more interesting things happen come the NEC show in February. I think they're going to the October show, which I'm glad to hear, and also there will be a new Elddis Explore range. There's only 3 layouts at the moment, from what I can see. They've not built the prototypes yet. I've only seen very rough sort of ideas what it's going to look like. Don't expect any major changes, but I think you will see the Elddis badge come off that, and it will be branded again as Explore, which was the intention at one stage some years ago. They just called it Explore, they didn't want the Elddis badge to it. I suggested that they put Explore and then put underneath by Elddis. Luna did that, I think, with the Venus at first. They put Venus by Luna, then that sort of just vanished and it was just Venus. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's branding. What did I think of the rest of the range? As I say, without giving too much away, I think Avanti looks a lot better. Infinity looks really good. And the pricing, again, I've only seen the pricing roughly, looks fairly competitive in all fairness. And I think they've shaved a little bit of weight off, I think, in some of the vans. And I think Elddis may, if 2025 the economy stays so, I think Elddis will make the most of that. Now, I haven't seen anything yet of Swift, and hopefully we'll be doing it at some stage. And interestingly, the Harrogate show, which was the first time last year, is obviously going ahead this year. Again, I've heard a lot of rumours about that, but it's definitely going again this year. They'll have learned a few lessons from last year. There was some change that needed to be done. Stuff was too spread out. Swift are going to be there in a big way. Elddis aren't going to be there. Coachman will be. So Harrogate show, yes. Bailey, I think they're going to go. I've not heard that they're not. I would think they would do, because they're launching their new unicorn next month. So that'll be interesting. They'll show it obviously at Harrogate. But the trade shows that we had before COVID are now long gone. There's only Coachman at Do One, and Elldis's was so. Not a lot of press there these days, not a lot of press left. A couple of YouTube people that I know, but nobody bothers with me, and I don't bother with them. So basically, what else is happening? Well, as you know, I do the holiday home side of things. I've been following that side of the industry now for about 30-40 years, and you know, I've watched it in the when it was vibrant. It was doing really well, and also when it took a dive in the early 80s, like a lot of the economy did anyway. But especially on tourers. Now, the thing is, we've not lost anybody at the moment on holiday home manufacturers, and I'm hoping that will remain that way. And same with park car manufacturers, apart from Willows Tingdean, who'd been around since about 1969-70. But I believe that was down to also some mismanagement, possibly. But the big news on the park home side is a company called Prestige that started off as a refurb company, began making their own park homes. They basically have seen a big success. Now, they also then reintroduced Sunseeker. Sunseeker was a name from about 1973-1974. They were a static caravan range, and they did one called Homeseeker, which was for park home side of things for people to live in. Interestingly, Sunseekers were a byproduct of Panther touring caravans, and when Panther caravans stopped being manufactured around about 77-78, when they relaunched they dropped the Panther name and they called them Sunseeker Concerto Tourers, which was sort of very wedge shaped, which was very much of the 80s, and they showed it with a Triumph TR7 towing it. But they didn't sell very well, to say the least. I think they only made a couple of models. But anyway, the Sunseeker name lived on the holiday home side, and they went into liquidation about the mid-80s, and Prestige brought the name back several years ago now, and I've had a quite successful time with them now for making the static caravan side of things, like park homes and luxury lodges, although Sunseekers do now do a luxury lodge. Prestige, again, it's like the industry, you know, there's lots of rumours going on. I heard lots of rumours about them, you know, were they going to go or whatever. There was all sorts of things. Just happened this last few days that actually Prestige have been bought out by the Rix Group. Rix are a big group of companies who bought basically out a company called Victory Holiday Homes, which was from the ashes of Cassalt. So I'm giving you a history lesson now, sorry about this. So Cassalt used to make tours as well. That was Abbeys and Pipers, Welton, Safari, and they, in about 92, 93, Cassalt ditched all the tourers. And they'd been making quite a bit of money, but they ditched all the tours, so the Abbey brands and everything was sold off to Swift, and production moved over to them. And they concentrated Cassalt then on lodges and static caravans, if you like, for some years, and then sort of like 2006-07, they really fell off the edge of a cliff, and Cassalt stopped manufacturing the holiday homes. And ironically, the holiday homes, again, we're on a history lesson here again, was made in the factory on Stone Ferry Road where Astral Caravans used to be a big manufacturer. You've heard me talking about before. We've got a video on the channel when I find an old Astral, and I tell you all bits and pieces about that. And a guy from, actually, sorry I'm diversifying, from I think it was Belgium, he's got a 1968 Astral Ranger in really nice condition, and he's wanting to get it up and back up on the road. It's been dry stored for years, stored away, and anyway, it's pretty original. It was an export model because Astra used to do a lot of exporting. Anyway, that's by the by. So basically, Rix decided when Cassalt stopped making holiday homes, they wanted to get involved with that, and got a chap called Peter Nevitt, who'd been in the industry for a good long time. He'd worked for Cassalt, and they said start up another holiday home manufacturer. And so Victory was the start up in about 2012, 2013. Well, a bit earlier than that, 2010 I think it was, sorry. I went to 2013 to the factory. And they started up Victory, and they did very well. So rolling years on now, they've bought Prestige, who are a very good quality park home, innovative manufacturer and luxury lodges. I just wonder what's going to happen to the Sunseeker side of things now, because you know, they're going to be competing with the Victory holiday home brand, and is there room for them? Maybe not now, because let's say the market's pretty tight. But that's that bit of news. And one last bit of news, a personal bit of news really. And this, you know, I'm going to put my Victor Meldrew hat on here. Been to the Coachman a trade show over at Beverley last month. Took on my way back. Been off and dropped off at South Cave for Wander Home. You saw one of the videos. And then I decided, should I stop on the motorway service station? No, I thought I'll stop off at the Goole services, so there's Costa and all that sort of thing there, not a proper like service station as such. And there's a McDonald's, which I've stopped at many times. I thought, go on, I'm gonna have a McDonald's, and I'll have a drink, and I'm gonna have a bit of a sit down. I felt a bit tired, and I've got about like 100 and odd miles to drive back home over 62. So I went round, got there, parked up, sat there, just really sort of taking a bit of a chill out really. Got in my car, drove off, got home, took it easy. A fortnight later, letter through the post, photograph of me driving the car out, and I was apparently 15 minutes overdue on the parking, which results in £100 fine. So you go to give McDonald's your custom. If you stop over an allotted time, you get fined. Now the problem is, I never saw any signs. I'm not saying the signs aren't there, because they obviously are. But I think if they put a big sign up saying warning, don't stop over like 1.5 hours, because if you do, it's £100 fine. People might just think, oh wow, okay, I better be careful, better watch the old watch here, look at the phone or whatever, and see how long I've got. Or some may just say, well, do you know what, we're going to be here for longer than that, we want a real, well, we'll go off on to the next services where you're allowed more time. 15 minutes over, as I say, £100 fine. I put my case through straight away, and strangely enough, within a fortnight, it was back. They rejected my claim that the 15 minutes, I should have known that. I told them there was no major signage there, and why would I get myself fined if I didn't, do it deliberately? So I've got to pay it. I can appeal against it, but if I lose, that's going to cost me another £70. So they've got it pretty much sewn up. So if you're at Goole off the 62, the McDonald's there, I tell you, do not stop more than an hour, because, well, certainly not more than an hour and a half, because you will be fined £100. It's disgusting. I got onto McDonald's customer services. Big deal there. Customer services, forget it. No such thing. I told them, I said, I understand you don't own the car park, all this business goes on. Well, we'll just log it. I said, well, what feedback do we get? Oh, you don't get any feedback. We'll just let management know. What good was that? There was nothing. Right, Mr. Jenkinson, what we'll do, we'll get back to you. We'll have a quick look, because obviously there'll be more people caught out. No, they didn't care. Not bothered. So, as I say, if you're at the Goole one, and I don't know what it's like on the other ones, and I shall now be really keeping an eye out for any of these little signs. I think they're about so big, my daughter said. Do check, because if you don't, you're going to get a hefty fine. And I'll tell you something, I just find it a complete utter rip-off, being charged parking to go and give somebody custom. They don't own the land that the car parking's on. It's some company who makes money out of you forgetting that you've been there for an hour and a half, or you're having a bit of you want to make sure you're ready to hit the road, and you get fined. So that's my grunge. That's my Victor Meldrew bit. So as I say, next few weeks there should be some new videos going up on the 2025s as soon as embargo's over. The other news is, of course, is the book visual history of the motorhome. After this book's been going on for over 3.5 years, is now the cover is past its embargo. I've been told now I can release the cover. So if you look at the Facebook page, Caravan Industry Experts, you'll see it on there. And the book should be available for January 2025. I've got a feeling it might be ready for Christmas this year, but we'll have to see on that. In the meantime, I'm now writing a new book, The Story of the Caravan. That's due out, in theory, February, March next year. So that'll be a month or so after this one. That's going to go into print, the visual history. And then I start on 2 new book projects, and the thing is that's quite good about those is that that will take me up to 20 books I've written on the subject, which nobody's ever done in this industry. There's been a couple of people have written 1 or 2 books, but they've never written 20. So I'm quite proud of myself about that, because when I wrote the very first book in 1996-97, the Caravan History book, Volume 1, I never envisaged that I would be another 17 or 18 books later on over the years. I never thought that at all, and it's just surprising really how things can take a turn. And I remember one of my old school teachers on Facebook actually He was my form teacher, and he just said, "Congratulations, you know, you've." Yeah, he never expressed the fact you were ever going to be an author at any some stage, and that's how it goes, isn't it? But it's passion that drives me. Financially, the books aren't worth it at all. Not unless I was to sell thousands, and yes, then it becomes financial viability. I do it because I just like passion. I'm just passionate about the industry, about the motorhomes, the touring caravans, the static caravan, just about this industry, about the leisure vehicle in the UK. So I'm always, you know, interested to learn bits of things that I never knew anything about. So that's how it goes. So on a parting shot, Parkhome shows that down at Stoneleigh, not as well attended with the manufacturer as been in the past, but a good amount to see, some good lodges, some fantastic designs going on now from the UK. I mean, we are leaders, there's no doubt about it. For people retiring, Parkhome can make a lot of sense, and for lower costs, easy to run, and on parts where you do get that village atmosphere. And there was plenty of interest going on with lodges and things. So, despite the way things are in the country at the moment, there still seems to be some sort of interest in it all. Somebody said in the winter we'll also see how some of the dealers are going to survive, and I think we might see a couple more people get sort of tripped up. As I say, the trouble is there's not the dealers around as used to be. This used to happen again. This happened in the 70s, but it happened in the 80s, and sort of big dealers like the Gailey Group, who are a bit like the Marquis Group today, and the upcoming Spinney Caravans. They had about 15 branches by sort of 1980, 81. They'd nothing. It'd all gone. They'd even had a couple of parks. They actually had a bodybuilding company who did special units. It all just went kaputted. So that's the problem with big groups, really. You've got to just be careful, and you just hope that group is pretty sound. I'm sure people like Marcus are. They've been around a long time, and they've weathered a few storms. So if they've got a good, keen people up there at the top who can steer it through the bad times as well as the good, then they'll be okay. Right, I'm sorry it's been quite a long vlog, and hopefully, as I say, I'll be back with some more reviews at some stage soon. I know you like the used ones, and I like doing the used ones, and I will at some stage be doing some more used van, and some, hopefully not making the glitches and the mistakes that I do. So I'll see you on the next one, and please keep watching, please subscribe. Thanks for all the new people who've come. We've got about 150 new subscribers come on, and all the people who've been watching the videos. We're at 11,000 plus on the 64 year on Blazers going into liquidation. It seems like the bad news one seems to get all the hits, and I don't really want that to happen, but that's how it goes, I suppose. But generally, yes, please keep subscribing, and as I say, it's a big thank you for everybody that's come on board, and for everybody who keeps commenting. I've got me regular comment, people commenting, some new ones commenting. Just say what you like, I'm here to listen, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to shoot you down in flames. I just think that everyone's got a fair say, and they should say it. So I better get back to the old computer. I'm working at the moment on the campervan book, so that's going to be in the next few weeks, I think by the end of August. So I'll love you and leave you, as I say, and I'll see you on the next one. And I suppose I better get me 50 quid ready to pay me fine for my car parking to go and eat at McDonald's. It cost me 50 quid. Don't get caught out. If you have, let me know. I'd like to hear your story and what happened. Story of my life, isn't it? I'm just a walking disaster. Simple as that. See you on the next one.